Hi everybody, it's Anna. I wanted to share today something that I've been sort of playing with in my mind for a while and thinking about, especially as it pertains to my work. There's a passage in Matthew 12 that talks about casting out an unclean spirit, and then the spirit goes out, and then 7 more spirits come and inhabit the person. So it's saying you do a cleansing of one spirit, but then you don't do the necessary work to stabilize your energy. And so more spirits come in, and then you're worse off than what you were before. And I think I'm getting an insight. I think that gives me an insight as to what's happening with people when they are resisting healing. Okay, because I work with different kinds of people, and for a long time I worked with people kind of on a very casual level. I would work with people who they weren't trying to make big changes with their lives. They just wanted to work on kind of little issues here and there. And the more I did my work, the more I realized how powerful the healing process is and how miraculous it is, and really how limitless our opportunities are. So I found myself wanting to do more work. I wanted to do more transformative healing. I wanted to profoundly change lives. But especially with a certain group of people, the more I tried to do that, the more they would stop me and say, no, this is good enough. This is good enough, right? And usually what I had done for that person was just kind of relieve symptoms. I hadn't really gotten all the way to the illness. And it always sort of confused me. I thought, why won't they just go ahead and do all the work, get all the way to the core of the problem and release it so they can have a completely transformed life? As I read this scripture, though, I can see where the trepidation comes from, right? Because the truth is, you know the demon that's yours. You've known it a long time. You've lived with this particular struggle a long, long time. And you have kind of a status quo agreement with it. It's like a parasite, right? I mean, the parasite only survives if you survive. So it's not going to kill you. It's just going to steal a lot of your energy and steal your inspiration and limit you significantly and limit your vitality and your health. But it's not going to kill you, or the parasite would die too. So it's you have a parasite and you know how to deal with this parasite. And yes, it's unpleasant. And yes, you don't particularly want it. But if you lose it, possibility is things are going to get worse. And that is true. That is true. If you take care of this one illness, but you're not willing to clean up your house, you're not willing to do some other work and get stronger and more anchored in your own spirituality, in your own health, if you're not willing to really kind of invest yourself in following your wisdom, not the knowledge that the people give you, but your wisdom, if you're not willing to really grow in that place, then you will get another challenge. Well, you'll get another challenge anyway, because that's what happens. You handle this challenge, you have another challenge, you have another challenge. That's part of the spiritual journey. But the good news is every time you meet a challenge and overcome it, you become more clear and more confident in your own power. And after a while, you know how amazing you are. You know how powerful you are. And so when the challenges come, they feel uncomfortable, they don't feel happy, but you have a sense of clarity. And actually, finally, the challenges kind of weaken and don't be. But for a while, you have to prove that you have spiritual stamina, right? So if you're going to remove this illness, what you're basically saying is, I'm ready. I'm ready to be free of limitation. I'm ready to take on this work, and I'm ready to commit myself to a truly free, called life. And then you find out if you have the stamina to do it. Well, you build your stamina, right? So one demon goes, more come back. What do you do then? Well, if you already cast out the one, you can cast out the 7. You can do it, right? But you have to learn you can do it. And that means having faith in yourself, faith in your called state, faith in your divinity. And you only find that out by taking the step forward. There is something about once you start on this journey, you don't fit in to the structures that most people live inside of. And you're going to have to keep doing the work until you are extricated from all the limitations that our world gives you, the reality world. And if you don't want to do that, it's best not to start on the journey. And recently I had someone talk to me about wanting to work with me. And, he told me he was so motivated. He really wanted to change. He really wanted to move forward. But when it came time to pay, he basically said, well, that's just too much. I can't do that. Okay. So in his mind, he doesn't have enough financial wealth to work with me. But that idea of not having financial wealth comes from living inside of the limitations of a societal context. In society's belief, there isn't enough money. You have to be careful in how you spend your money. You have to be mindful and resourceful and whatever. So there's not this idea that you can create wealth. There's this idea that you have what you have, and you may not get more, and you may not be able to earn it, or it's hard to earn it. And so he was telling me that he could not, and he actually had the money. He told me he had the money, but he didn't want to invest it in working with me. And so there's this idea that, yeah, but I want to be safe. I want to be safe, and this money makes me safe, and I'm not going to give up this money. Now, if he had felt confident that he could make more money, and actually would actually be able to generate a lot more money once he got kind of flowing into his genius and got some stuff cleared out of the way. If he felt confident in that, he would feel like, well, yeah, this money's it's not an obstacle. But it was an obstacle because he didn't know what would happen next. And his mind was strong enough to stop him. And that's the story for a lot of people. They do have an unclean spirit that's hurting them and affecting them, but they don't know what happens next if they get rid of it. And they don't have confidence in themselves, in their own power, that they're beloved of God. They don't believe it enough to take that first step. And so basically I've stopped really making myself available to those people because I don't want them to be in a worse situation. I mean, I don't want to help them get rid of something and then they get sevenfold of it back. I mean, I feel like, I want to work with people who really hate being limited. They really can't tolerate the parasite living in them. And they want it not just to relieve the symptoms, but they want a life that reflects their true power and their true genius. And very likely their genius is so insistent that it will not leave them alone. Because, they're not living quiet lives where they sort of blend in with other people. There are people who are the artists and the dreamers and the people who are really they have got to let their genius come to the surface. And it's really painful and difficult to live in your genius and live in limitation at the same time. So almost like they almost can't tolerate staying where they are. If you can tolerate staying where you are, then you might not want to move out of it because more will be required of you the further you walk into your spiritual journey. You'll have to do more healings. You'll have to be persistent. You'll have to have stamina. You'll have to believe in yourself and keep believing in yourself. Even when your mind's panicking, you still have faith. You still take that next leap. You still move forward because you're going for the whole enchilada of healing. You're going all the way in. And if you don't have that stamina, you probably shouldn't start at all, which is what I told this guy. I told him if he wasn't able to take the first step of faith, he wouldn't be able to make it working with me anyway, because he would have to have a lot more stamina than that. To do a full transformative work, he would have to really, really, really want it and really, really believe in himself. And of course, I'm going to support him in that, but you have to have it in you that you want this really with everything you've got, and you're willing to believe in yourself and invest in yourself and keep moving forward when you see those 7 unclean spirits headed your way. You don't panic. Maybe you do panic a little, but you see them and you think, and I can handle that too. I can handle that too. Bring it on. There's that wonderful quote that is everywhere now, it seems, where the devil whispers in your ear, you won't be able to survive the storm. But I whispered back, I am the storm. You are the storm. And if you know that, and you get that, and you want to embody it all the way, there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you. And then you need to start on the journey, because it's a radical journey to be on. So that's my thoughts for today. Feel free to leave comments, and I will be checking in with you again soon. Bye.